Hi, everybody. This is Brooke, Conversations with Brooke. And today we're going to talk about um, walls. We're going to talk about emotional walls. We're going to talk about heart walls. We're going to talk about why we put them up, how traumatic experiences have created them. We're going to talk about how to begin removing them. And we're going to talk about how to begin that healing process. And how we feel like when you've come from trauma, when you've been in a cult environment or a strong religious background, you begin to identify yourself and you begin to present yourself in a way that isn't authentic to who you are. So you build up these walls about who you are, and the way that you present yourself as a person is really not authentic. And this is because after years of abuse, you've been told so many different things, and you begin to put up all these protection around yourself. So when I was a kid, as I was growing up, there was all these different experiences that happened. And, an example of them is when I was really little, not really little, when I was under the age of 10, I would get in trouble for things that didn't make a lot of sense. So because of that experience, I began to not be who I naturally was up until that time. So I got in trouble for not being friends with some of the other kids that were my same age, which in itself one time wouldn't have been a big deal, but these became these continuous events. And then as I got older, I was corrected for things and told that I had to have certain people and told that I had to do certain things. So as these experiences continue, you slowly begin to not be natural about the way that you are and the things that you do, because you feel like who you are is not right. Who you are is not enough. Who you are is not, and so you try to fit yourself into a box based on the teaching that you're taught. You try to fit yourself in a box based on what you're supposed to be and this ideal of what you're being taught as you grow up. So whether this is some extreme religious idea or not, it doesn't even have to be extreme, but whether this is a religious idea, whether this is a certain faith idea, whether this is a teaching that you've grown up in, whether it could be about the fact that you're told as you're a teenager that you're supposed to marry who you're told. And in religious environments, in these damaging religious environments, a lot of times we're told that there's this specific person and that's going to be revealed at a later time to be the person that we're supposed to be married to. So within that idea, you stop having a open heart moment about the people that you come in contact with, because you think you don't have a choice about who you're going to marry, because someday you're going to be told who you're supposed to marry. So within the being told and who you're supposed to marry, you stop wanting something natural. You stop wanting a natural relationship. You stop because you think that's not within what you're supposed to have. So you start fitting yourself into this box based on what you've been taught, so that you don't want things that are not supposed to be spiritual enough. So you become very unnatural. And you're doing it out of performance, because if you don't perform to a certain level, to this expectation of the people that you're with and this teaching, you're going to be ostracized in different ways. And because you don't want to be kicked out or corrected or disciplined or punished, whatever word you want to use, you fit yourself into this box. So you stop listening to yourself and you stop honoring yourself. So you start putting these walls up and making yourself in to being the person that you think that you're supposed to be spiritually. And it's very unnatural, and it's very isolating. But you can't be authentic to who you are anymore because all the people that you're around are doing the exact same thing. Because everybody's in this performance to be a certain level of person so that they can get to some spiritual level that is ridiculous and none of us are going to reach anyway. And honestly, my beliefs about God, that's a bunch of fucking bullshit anyway. You know, God isn't expecting you to be anything other than who you are, and who you are is perfect, and it is fucking enough. And you don't need anything else. So, as you're making yourself into being this person and turning off and closing all these parts of you that you feel like aren't good enough, that is something you begin projecting. Now, the other problem when you've grown up in a cult is you begin shielding yourself off from people who are outside of that community. So even if you work with people, or you go to school, or you begin going to college, you go to these different environments, you feel like you don't belong. So there's another layer of feeling like you're somewhere different than what all these other people are doing. So you're slowly getting yourself farther and farther away from actually connecting, and you're creating a bigger distance from everyday people that you could have really amazing relationships with because of this upbringing that you've had. And this is whether you're in or out. It doesn't really matter. So once you do finally escape that environment, you feel so foreign from other people that you don't know how to create friends, you don't know how to create relationships, you don't know how to create bonds. And you literally put up walls emotionally inside to keep yourself protected. And part of that is a safety mechanism. Like, you put up all these walls because you've been under fire for years, and who you've been has not been good enough. So you begin to project out there that who you are is not good enough, and so you begin to create more people in your life that see you as that. So you have to begin breaking down these walls and opening yourself up and allowing yourself in safe places to be vulnerable with people that you feel like aren't going to take advantage of you and want to find out who you are. There are people that will absolutely love you for who you are, but you're not showing them who you are because you have all these walls up because you feel like for years who you were was never good enough. And you're afraid if they really knew who you were and that you really came from this damaging background, that they're going to do everything that you've had your whole life, which is ostracize you, judge you, and think there's something wrong with you. That's not true. This is an emotional one. As I began opening up with people and being me, just being Brooke, I realized people really liked me. And I spent years with that not being enough. And I realized that that was something that had happened when I was a kid, but that wasn't true anymore. My cat. It's okay. Allow people to love you. There's a lot of people out there who probably want to be friends with you. They want to love you. They want to be a part of your life. But you have to be willing to open up enough to let them in. And part of that is just doing meditations where you actually sit and imagine opening up your heart and letting people in. Part of it is telling yourself that you love yourself. And that, I mean, other people can't love you more than you love yourself. And unfortunately, that is like one of the biggest problems in this, in the world right now. We want other people to love us, but we don't love ourselves. You know, I felt like I felt like there was all these different things wrong with me. I still have these moments of feeling like I'm broken. And regardless of what level that's still true for me, I'm going to help other people heal, and I'm going to heal myself, because everybody fucking deserves it. You deserve to heal. You deserve to be who you are, and you deserve to let people know who you are, because there's people out there who want to know who you are. There's people out there who would love to be a part of your life. And we have all this dysfunction because we've grown up in this idea that there's all these parts of us that are wrong, and that we have these things that we wouldn't be accepted into heaven because of all of this stuff. Like, and so after years of it, trying to rewire yourself into something different it's a real fucking bitch. Seriously, no fucking bullshit. That stuff sucks. But you absolutely deserve it. And it's doable, you know? And it's gonna be a day-by-day thing sometimes. But you're gonna get there, regardless of what you've been through. People want to know you, and people want to love you, and people want to be there for you. And you have to open your heart up to let them. That's where you have to just learn to love yourself enough to let other people in to love you too. It doesn't have to be an overnight process. Just take one little step. Today, take one little step to show somebody a little bit about who you are, and let them in. And even if it doesn't work out, might have been the wrong person, that's okay. There's a million other people out there. I guarantee you there's somebody out there who absolutely will love and adore you. Friends, relationships, all of it. There's people out there who need you in their life. You have something beautiful to share. So, I hope this was helpful for you today. As always, if you'd like to get a free blueprint, that's going to be at 100yearsofbliss.com. I'm Brooke Walker, Conversations with Brooke. Go to 100yearsofbliss.com or go to 100yearsofblissquiz.com and get your free life blueprint. I look forward to connecting with you and hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.